I was just wondering, after the loss against Walsall this weekend, I want to know, as captain of Harrogate Ladies, what are your responsibilities to lift the team, and how do you go about that?
I suppose so obviously this weekend we were quite unfortunate with the result. I don't think we delivered on the pitch. We weren't playing up to our usual standard, but I guess my responsibilities really with that is, lifting the team back at training and bringing us all back together as a group. And, I think especially from this weekend, we need to look at the basics. And I think we had a, big chat in the changing room and kind of went through everything that went wrong. And it's about accepting that sort of responsibility that each player had in the game and stuff. And it's my role to, take on responsibility for the things, that I might have slipped up on and stuff like that, but also helping all the players to recognise that, but in a much more constructive way, of course. We've got quite a young squad as well, so as a sort of more senior player in the squad, it's important for me and the other senior players to use our sort of experience and really lift the players up both on the pitch and off. So a lot of work going on in training this week. We're a bit back to basics and lifting the mood again.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, last season, 5 days after Liam Coates' appointment was announced, he was terminated from management. How did this affect the team morale throughout the season?
I don't know how much everyone knows about last season, but it was a pretty turbulent one for us. I was actually quite new to the team. I joined in the pre-season that year, so I wasn't really part of the initial sort of management change. So I don't, I wasn't really involved with that. But as I came in, it was definitely a squad that was trying to rebuild. So definitely affected morale. And I think in the long run, at the beginning was, obviously very hard, with immediate changes and stuff. But in the long run, it really brought us together as a team. And, we really brought in those young players and really bonded together. And we knew that we had to stick it out for each other. And despite all the results last season, it was a really, really great season for building that team amongst ourselves and, what we were fighting for and stuff. So, yeah, it definitely obviously had an impact, but we're here this season to make a real difference.
Hey, Ella, how you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Turning into a bit of a positive note, those were two quite, I'd say, a bit negative questions. Obviously, you've got the new director of football coming, Jason Barker, close to the start of the year. How do you think things have changed under him? What's his impact been like on the team?
Oh, Jason's been great. Definitely a huge change from, what we had previously. But in sort of all areas, not just, in training and on match days, it's the sort of support off the pitch that he gives the players as well. It's had a huge effect on the women's team, the women's first team, but also our reserves team is doing so well, really building. But that is using, his expertise and knowledge, to create that pathway for girls in the area, to come and play football at a high level. And, he's had that effect throughout the club, bringing in really, really young girls and stuff. And his impact's been incredible, honestly, in all areas, both on and off the pitch.
And just a quick follow-up on that then. Obviously, women's football is really truly growing in the UK. To have people like Jason and developing the game at a more grassroots level, is that something that can only benefit the game going forward and looking to get players closer to the England pathway if possible?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the growth in women's football over even the past year has been incredible, like exponential growth. It's honestly incredible to see. You really do see it with especially with us, with the ladies team, with, the new sort of, 16, 17-year-olds who are coming in. They really keep players like myself on my toes because the standard is just getting better every year. So, yeah, the work being done at grassroots is incredible. And I think, women's football's got a very bright future.
Spot on, thank you.
So just a quick question. What was your biggest obstacle that you had to overcome during your career?
Oh, that's a good question, making me think. I suppose it's, I've spoken about this quite a lot. I was, just a little 6, 7, 8-year-old that wanted to play football, and that wasn't very normal. And it's just, I think, growing up in a sport that you feel like isn't tailored to you, and whether that's with, after school clubs, training camps, even to the kit you wear and stuff, it's all sort of labelled as boys and stuff like that, which, are still willing to get stuck in and stuff. But I can see how that does affect plenty of other girls and probably stop them playing. But, it did probably have a bit of an impact on me, because sometimes, you question yourself, like, why is this sport that I love not made for me? Why am I, it makes you feel like you're not meant to be there to an extent. So I wouldn't say there was necessarily like one big obstacle, but it's just, it's in the back of your mind. And especially as a little kid, it's a sort of an unusual feeling, really. But, like I said in the previous answer, I think we're on the way up from there, and a lot of things are changing, which is really positive.
Hi, I'm just interested to know what your individual approach has been to the captaincy. Like, do you see yourself as sort of an outlet for reassurance and stability? And then from becoming the captain, has this sort of shifted your outlook in terms of football and maybe even life in general?
Oh, another good question. Yeah, definitely. I think so I wasn't expecting the captaincy at all. Like I said, I was new to the team last season, so it was definitely a pleasant surprise, but also something that I really had to step up to. Not having captained at this level before, so yeah, definitely had to step up. And my sort of responsibilities, as I see it, is to be I suppose that senior player to the young ones, off the pitch just as much as on. And like you said, that reassurance, that outlet, when players are down and stuff like that, I think I bring quite a lot to the team, and lifting people up, and not letting their mistakes get to them and stuff like that. But yeah, I had to sort of change the way I play in a lot of ways as well, because it's another thing to think about, isn't it? Yeah, so it's you're on the pitch, and you're suddenly not just playing football. That is obviously the basics of what you're doing, but you've got a lot of other things to think about, looking at how players are reacting to situations and stuff, and whether that's how you speak to them on the pitch after that, or afterwards in the change room, half time, at training, all of that. So yeah, I definitely had to adapt my game, but really enjoying it.
Thank you.
Yeah, pretty similar question, really. But was it always a goal of yours to become captain when you first started? And also, how are you actually finding it?
No, a short answer to that. No, it wasn't my goal. I love playing football. I'm here to play football. That's why I joined town, was to play at a good level. And the captaincy wasn't something I expected, but something that was quite a privilege to be asked to step up to do. And I've had to sort of rise to the occasion, really. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Like, our season this year, we've been quite unlucky so far. I think we've had some close results against some top teams, which does show that we're getting there, and we are here to compete against the best in the league. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Just good to get some more points under our belt.
Hi, Ella. As you said, last season was a pretty tough one for the team, but I guess you're looking forward to the new season. What are the objectives for this season? What are you planning to achieve?
I suppose we're sort of really just setting the foundations of the women's side, or resetting the foundations of the women's side after last year. So we had a big recruitment over the summer, so lots of new players coming in, and we're still sort of establishing how we play, and learning to play with each other. So I suppose this season our objectives are to show that we can compete with the best, and some of our results so far have been really, really close. I think we have shown that. It's time to get some points on the board, really. But I think this season we want to show the league that we're here. We turned up, and we're ready to compete with the best. And whatever the result at the end of this season, hopefully next year we'll be even stronger to go again.
Thank you.
Hi. Obviously, you were announced as a student director by Booksport about 2 weeks ago now. How are you kind of finding the balance between doing that and kind of putting forward your ideas, and also balancing kind of the football element as well as the kind of off the pitch kind of business, essentially?
Yeah, good question. Didn't expect anyone to know that. You've done your research. Yeah, so obviously being involved with Bucks is pretty cool. There's lots of high level stuff going on, which relates to my work off the pitch. And I am loving it, getting involved with Bucks and stuff. And I'm quite fortunate in the respect that I can balance the two. I've got football is still very much my outlet. And Bucks is my work and the stuff I do at Leeds University. But I think actually my experiences with Bucks is really, really helping me with Harrogate Town. And, you know, especially as we're growing that player pathway, you know, with the younger players coming into the squad, into the reserves and stuff, I'm being able to, you know, apply what I do at work with students and in the sports pathway at universities into bringing that player voice into the club, into what we do, and making sure that players are heard. But, you know, not just the loud ones, making sure that absolutely everyone has the opportunity to, you know, have their say and input into the team. Again, touching on what I've kind of already said, you know, it is a bit of a reset for the team. And so it really is a chance for those young players, especially, to sort of set the foundations and, you know, make the terms of how the Harrogate Town women are going to go forwards from now. So yeah, the two, you know, it's about balancing. One's work, one's still very much an outlet for me, but, you know, they do also feed into each other quite nicely, which is really good. And, you know, I'm pretty lucky in that regard.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello, Ella. Good to see you.
Hi, nice to see you too.
So I just wanted to ask, as you said earlier, there have been a lot of days during your childhood, a lot of dismotivated, discouraged days of choosing a different path from the others. So how did you like motivate yourself? And also, if you could give one advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, I suppose I was pretty lucky actually when I was growing up, because I think I was the first out of a lot of girls in my area to start playing football, but fortunately a lot of my friends joined me on the ride. So I had a very, very solid group of friends who have all become actually quite brilliant footballers at different clubs and stuff around the country. So yeah, I was very lucky that, you know, I had my friends and stuff who also just enjoyed it, loved the game as much as I did, and we were quite a little group in that regard and used to go all over playing football absolutely wherever we could. So I suppose as a child, what motivated me was just the enjoyment, having fun, and, you know, being able to do something I love with my friends. Yeah, and what was the second part of your question? Sorry.
If you could give one advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, bit of advice. Probably just to
anything you can say, whatever.
I would probably say to just have a little bit more self-belief, and I know that's quite a typical answer to give, but I think had I had a bit more self-confidence, I probably could, you know, be playing an even better game than I am today. But on the whole, you know, I did always do it for enjoyment, and I've, you know, kept playing football. And a lot of girls do stop, which is such a shame, but I feel quite lucky that I have been able to keep enjoying it the whole way, and, you know, still playing today. But yeah, a little bit more self-belief, and, you know, would probably help me improve my game. But yeah, good question. I'll be thinking about that one today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.